This your boy Sean, aka Puff Comics 83, and welcome back to another episode of Talking Movies, where we talk Streets of Fire, 1984 Walter Hill film.
And you were so close to saying Street of Rage, weren't you?
Hey! Sometimes I have to catch myself in like Streets of Fire, Streets of Rage, you know. Hey, one thing about this movie is that it inspired both Streets of Rage and Final Fight.
Exactly. This is also a little known fact that even though this movie was unjustifiably a total flop, because I think it's one of the best movies ever made, in my opinion. When Walter Hill did this movie, with of course, with the Warriors, etc., you already knew, he loves comics books, and this was really, he wanted to have he had two goals. He wanted to have a comic book come to life, and the other goals, he wanted to do a movie that would have been the perfect movie for an 18-year-old himself.
Yes, he wanted a comic book style story without the superhero nonsense, just straight comic book. And you gotta admit, the world he created here was fantastic.
I mean, also, I think, there's different covers. This is also one of my favorites. And I think, when you look at the cover, you can already see the sense of the world, this neon noir, timeless world. It is you can't really tell, is it the 50s? Is it the 80s? Yes. And the other thing, of course, it also has one of the best soundtracks in movie history. So, of course, I have the record of it. Yeah. And there's also, Diane Lane. Online there are some comments that say that Diane Lane in this movie is peak female. So you won't find a more beautiful creature on Earth than Diane Lane in this movie.
Well, she was awesome, and we're gonna get into the characters because this movie has a good bit of characters.
Yes, the casting is excellent.
And we're gonna also talk about how this is gonna lead to our next couple weeks of Walter Hill discussion, because Walter Hill definitely needs to be talked about more.
Yeah, it is. Once you watch a Walter Hill movie, especially the old ones, you fall a little bit down a rabbit hole, and also what we also should do. We already talked 48 hours. We were gonna talk, etc. We should also do the least Walter Hill movie with Red Heat.
Man, look, I got a story about Red Heat, man. But yeah, I wouldn't mind talking. But wait a minute, wait, you don't know this film?
Well, you got a homework, bro.
You got to watch this movie. Dog. Check it out, man. It is I remember we had this on VHS tape, and I watched it a lot of times as a kid, and that's a tribute to Walter Hill. He can take a movie like this, make it so gritty, but keep it in a way where we can watch it as kids, because it's not over the top violence.
Exactly, because it is this 50s, 80s fictional rock fantasy world. And it is ruled by gangs, and the police. Sometimes, it's legit. We also have this rivalry between city parts and cities. So the police is also basically a gang in it, which, as my American friends told me, is not that far from reality. But the other thing is, there is a lot of brutality in this world, but this is portrayed in such a fairy tale way that it feels charming.
Yeah, and it's outside of a few scenes there, the kids shouldn't watch that. The movie just flows on by, and it's Walter Hill made it clear that he didn't want over the top violence. He didn't want too much blood and stuff like that. The only brutal thing about the film was that final fight. You know.
Yeah, with the head, like which is like the like hammer time.
Yeah. But other than that, the movie is just fun to watch, you know, and the music elevates it to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
This is the type of musical that I like to watch, you know,
Yes.
where the music elevates the you know, the story is good, but the music elevates it to the point where it's like it's God tier. Like the music,
the music
really carries it.
Especially as it starts with an awesome song and it ends with one of the best songs ever written.
Yeah, and that's why, you know, when it comes to 80s films, you just can't top movies that have awesome soundtracks. And the soundtracks really elevate what the movie, you know, is.
Yeah, Jim Steinman, you know, Wagnerian rock perfection. And, you know, not to say anything against Bruce Springsteen, but not getting the rights to his song Streets of Fire was the best thing that could have happened to this movie. Because that way Jim Steinman had to put out 2 bangers on short notice, and you know, and Nowhere Fast, like the first song, and Tonight Is What It Means to Be Young. Like these songs have so much, there's so much emotion in there, and it's exactly what this movie needs, because when you look at the structure of the movie, it's a very basic damsel in distress. Like this is like the plot, the characters, all, you know, I think actually the character with the most depth is actually
shout out to Stoney Jackson, you know, the leader of the Sorrels, you know. That this movie, like, he's singing, and then later on in CB4, that boy can dance. But we're gonna talk about him in a little bit, not only just this film, but when we talk Trespass as well, because he's in that. Yes.
Yes, it's a fantastic movie. And, you know, also the characters are very stereotypical. I think the character actually with the most depth is Fish, like Rick Moranis' character. But also, like, I don't want to talk anything bad, because I think this is exactly what this movie needs. Stereotypical characters and very easy plot. However, what is very deep and what is very layered are the emotions expressed in this film. Not only through song, but also through, especially through Tom Cody's, like the the protagonist of the movie, because, you know, you really have, like, you need some time or some personal experiences to really figure out what does he actually want, like what is it, what are his emotions that he has for Diane Lane's character, because it's like, and I think how the way they did it, perfect. Like a really like easy structure, damsel in distress, very relatable stereotypical characters, but deep emotions. So when you watch it, you don't get lost. Yeah, you know, Sin City, in many ways, I think feels, you know, it also has this timeless feel that you can't really narrow it down when it's set. So, like,
and that's the beauty of it to me. Like, you just go with the flow. Like, this movie has elements of the 50s. Even the beginning part when that old 50s style gang goes into the restaurant, the diner, and it's like, yo, they straight out the 50s, but yet it has this 80s grittiness to it.
Yes, and this is a beautiful thing. Oh, thank you. I'm getting too old for this shit.
Yeah, the Danny Glover memes was running wild.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty of this film. It's like it's an alternate universe. It's a rock and roll's fable, and that the story is, like you said, it's a damsel in distress, but it's the characters that really, like, I like the character of McCoy. You know, like how Like
like
she
a
was
tomboy character, yeah.
yeah, and both her and Cody were soldiers. So there's that connection right there, even though they're completely different when it comes to how their characters are.
Yeah, I have to acknowledge these posts. Yeah, and like, I'm still a pup at 41.
Yes.
Yeah, this is a movie, like I said at the beginning, I revisit every year for my birthday and on other days because it's an awesome movie. Because, like the quote says, tonight it means to be young, and watching this movie makes me feel young.
Man, like you just feel every beat of the music, and it just takes you to a time where things were a bit
in a timeless time. Because actually, when you look at it, this world would be a very unpleasant place to live in. However, it feels very magical. Because do you really want to be in a place, where
of the battery with nothing but gangs, where William Dafoe is in a fucking leather suit and stuff, walking through the fire like a boss.
Yeah. Willem Dafoe is so excellent. Show Me a Movie is not excellent but I think this is like one of the movies that really put this excellence on the map.
Yeah, the movie has no timeline, but it for what it is, I enjoyed the hell out of the timeline that it takes place in.
And what I also love about it, and once again, what I always say, what a lot of young directors can learn from the masters like Walter Hill, this movie is perfectly paced. You don't have like a lot of shit in the beginning. No, it starts straight with the music. Within the music, like during like the concert, you get a feeling for the world, for the style, for the aesthetics, and then immediately at the concert, the bad guys, the bombers, like under the lead of Willem Dafoe, kidnap the girl. This is the thing. Basically, when you see Streets of Rage, Final Fight, Fatal Fury, it seems like it's basically also like Double Dragon. Game starts, girls gets kidnapped, action starts.
That's it. You go through the streets.
And this is like the art that is a little bit lost nowadays, is make a feature film movie within and justifiable runtime, and make it paced that it really flies by. Like also like Big Reno said, top 5 movie, a movie always rewatches, movie that we always rewatch. You rewatch always movies that are flying by. Streets of Fire is a movie you can totally immerse yourself in it, but it's also a movie that you can just have running and you feel better. You have the atmosphere in the background. It's a perfectly structured film. Hey, Biggie.
And that again, it's like you can watch this movie multiple times and never get tired of it.
Yeah, I watched it twice this week. You watched it twice.
Yeah. I was like, I need to watch it again because like I said, it's been a while since I watched it. So after I watched it the first time, I was like, yeah, I'm watching it again because it's just awesome.
Love you, Biggie.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Mo the Biggie Shots, man. He's been killing it, with the lives and stuff. But yeah, like the story is simplistic, but again, it's easy to watch. Ellen gets kidnapped by Raven, and while the details on it ain't as far fetched and stuff, I just look at it as Raven is a stalker that is a big fan. And
yeah,
he wants to kidnap her.
Exactly.
He wants to have her.
You know what? It's also as we also know that Walter Hill loves history, and it's like it's nowadays. It was also in the past. You had your big dictators, and they wanted to have stars at their parties, so they either paid or kidnapped women. Yeah.
It was so tough it never got burnt when he walked through the fire.
Yeah.
But yeah, that it was simplistic. You got the idea of it. Then you had Cody comes in when his sister called. By the way, his sister is played by Deborah Van Valkenburg, who was in The Warriors. So again, there's that Warriors connection.
Exactly, and Walter Hill always uses like some known characters in his movies.
Yeah, so she called him because she knew that they had a thing in the past, and Cody comes in like a straight badass. You know, he walks in the diner and automatically trouble starts, and you know, I like how the guy pulls out the switch knife. Cody just
laughs in and gives it back to him like, "Hey, you have another try at it."
And then he takes the knife from him and just slaps him. It was like a montage of slapping. Bang, 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 bang.
Yeah, that was very well done.
And then he beats up the entire gang and throws them out and keeps their car. Yeah. That's even better.
And what I also love is there's a good connection with the Warriors is the cameo of Flyny Flickpen. She's later like the subway driver, and of course her voice is so wonderful, and she's like the radio moderator at the Warriors, who is basically the narrator of the story.
Yeah, it was cool. Walter gave her that part just to have her in the film,
Yeah.
Man, Big, you gotta check this film out, man.
You have to check it out. It's perfection, and I am pretty sure you will love it.
Oh yeah.
Actually, I don't think there's anybody who couldn't love this movie, and I think also like the timelessness of it is like a big part, because it was actually a film that I didn't grow up with. Like a few years ago, a friend told me I should watch this movie because he watched it because it was the favorite movie of his mother when she was young. So I mean, naturally, it's like a movie from the 80s, so it touched many generations by now, and it's one of the films that I think, for how great it is not talked enough about.
And Walter Hill was great at casting Michael Paré as the lead actor, considering that he just came off of Eddie and the Cruisers the year prior, which was another musical Greaser film.
And in general, you have a lot of actors here that made it big later. Most of all, of course, Willem Dafoe and Diane Lane. And then you also have like Robert Townsend in very small roles in the Sorrells, and he's bloody Meteor Man, so you got that. Yeah.
Bill Paxton, man.
Bill Paxton has a very small role in it. The late great Bill Paxton, and it shows a lot about his charisma and his presence, that even though it's just like 2 minutes in there, hey, geek aficionado. Even though it's just 2 minutes in it, he makes the movie better. And this is like one of Bill Paxton's big strengths. He makes everything better he was in.
It's like the small scenes that he's in, he likes give it that special charm. Like as soon as you hear his voice, it's like, oh, it's Bill Paxton. And the way his hair is set up, it's like, oh, he would make perfect in the 50s,
and also like he's once again teaching valuable lessons. Never pick a fight with a woman.
Oh yes,
because there's two outcomes. Either it's a tomboy like McCoy and you get your ass kicked, or you hit the woman. You can't win in that scenario.
Well, Cody did that, and that would not fly.
Okay, yeah, but but he did it to save Alex.
That will not fly today if that was done in today's film. They would criticize the hell out of that.
Like, it's a well-paced movie. He didn't have time to explain. What?
Yeah, let me just. But yeah, that again, McCoy is one of those that. She's a tomboy, but she's a former soldier.
Yeah.
And when he found out that, it's like, yeah, you done messed
She
up.
just ran out of wars.
Yeah, ran out of wars. And she's a great driver, and she can handle the gun. She always has a gun with her.
Yeah.
So automatically, you already know she's an established character from her background. That's why I liked her and Cody's, friendly relationship on and off, because I felt like they were like a match, even if they weren't a match.
Exactly.
Like they saw themselves as not a match, but they match each other because of their soldier background.
And talking about Tom Cody, this is a true origin of Cody finishing his story.
Yes. Yeah. and again, like, he finished the story, but he didn't get the girl that he used to be with. So they most movies would like have them reconnect and they end the movie like that. Whereas he saw better of it, and he's like, nah, we're not compatible no more.
Exactly, and this is what I absolutely love about it. Like I said, simple plot, simple characters, but deep emotions. And, for him at the end, they're obviously, thank you, Chase. Yeah, they're obviously still in love, but also him realizing is like, no, you're married, like, your husband is good for your career. This is like the sensible thing to do. And I would, with my lifestyle, I would pull you down.
Yeah. And he was smart enough to realize that and say,
yes,
it won't work.
So I absolutely love the ending, because it's also with him and McCoy, and that they're basically riding into the sunset.
Yeah,
but also in a not sexual way, because they see they see themselves as comrades.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why I said
wasn't Fish married? No, I don't know.
No, they weren't married.
No, they were married. Okay, they of course, but they were together.
She talked about she had a previous experience with a boyfriend before she went to the army.
Yeah, you're right, Geek Aficionado. The character of Rick Moranis, Fish, perfect, shows the absolutely range that Rick Moranis has, and like you said on the pre-show, Sean, it's also really pity how little of Rick Moranis we got, since life really dealt him a very bad card with the family tragedy. And all the respect in the world to Rick Moranis, that he stepped down from acting to care for his family, shows what a solid human being he is. Way more solid as a lot of people in Hollywood. And but here it's like the one time he plays like a character that on the first glimpse is very unsympathetic.
Douchebag.
Yeah, very much, but also with the duration of the film, like we grow on him, we see, okay, that is like the persona he has. He basically built up for himself to be a tough guy in the movie business. But we also then find out, hey, now he actually cares, and he has also like a sense of honor.
He despised the battery, because he knew the battery growing up. So, like, he did not want no part of it. And Cody was like, nah, I need you because you know the battery, so you're coming with me. So he had no choice. And then, again, it's like, even going back to Bill Paxton's character, Clyde, he was very disrespectful of McCoy. And he found out the hard way that, McCoy ain't no pushover. He called her a skirt, and then ain't no skirt on her.
Exactly, yeah. But I think there was also such a great decision, that to have Rick Moranis' character being there, because visually you can already see he's not going to be any help in the fight. But they needed his intel, and his character added so much. So if he wouldn't have been there, I think there would have been a hole in the movie.
Yes.
So it was really good that he was there.
And again, he played his role very well. being antagonistic to both Cody and McCoy, you know, champion the fact that he has a superstar in Ellie Aim, and the fact that, you know, he's a businessman. He thinks money can solve any solution. Like when they were on the bus and they ran into those corrupt officers. Yeah. You know, so he's the type that he only does well when money is involved. Like he'll use money to get out of certain situations. But other than that, you're not gonna have him on the battlefield.
Exactly.
You know, let's talk about William Dafoe. We talked about him a little bit, but it was Catherine Bigelow that recommended him to be in this film because he was in one of her films the year prior. And William Dafoe is one of those actors, no matter how old he is, every time he's in the film, he's going to make it special.
Yes.
Even if the film is average to mediocre to bad, he's always going to be good in it, no matter what.
And even in movies like, you know, Bloody Boondock Saints, the first thing you think of is William Dafoe.
I mean, I watched Speed 2. Speed 2 is horrible, but I watch it because I love William Dafoe's performance as a crazy villain in that film.
It's just, William Dafoe can do no wrong.
He cannot. And him playing Raven Shaddock, to me, is like the cream of the crop when it comes to villains. Yeah. And he's not really a monster as a villain.
Because he also has a code of honor. Like, everybody has a sort of code of honor, except for the police.
Well, I'll give the police this, and it goes to Ed Price, Richard Lawson.
Yeah.
He did put down his foot when it came to
I mean, that's how the police, like, but not from the other city, not from the...
But he did put down his foot in wanting, you know, these guys off the streets and you know, crime down. And while he despised Raven, he had a plan that, like, yo, Cody, you need to get the hell out of town. I'm going to handle Raven. You know, so he's trying to establish some type of order, you know, even if it went against him before Cody showed up. You know, and again, Richard Lawson plays the character well because in your mind, you're thinking, oh, is he going to betray Cody or is he going to turn into a crooked cop? But no, he's still the honorable cop.
Yeah. He's the straight guy there, yeah. In general, you know, there's no performance in there, and that I would say is unfit. Like, it's
every performance by everybody. The only thing we didn't get is a speaking role from Robert Townsend. Like, out of the entire Sorrells, he did not say a single word.
Yeah.
So, you know, I felt like they could have at least gave him a few words. But other than that, everybody played their part to the point. Even Ling Ving, who played Raven's henchman, Greer, you know, he's just there waiting in the cut, but he always had a presence as a henchman.
Yeah, and he always, you know, he had like this, you know, always scheming. Like, you know, this presence of being always scheming, especially, you know, when he was scouting ahead for Raven.
Yeah, like he's scheming behind the scenes, and when at the end, you know, when Raven lost, you know, he became the de facto leader and said, "We all leaving."
Yeah, and this is what I love about it. You know, like we said, you know, it is not a world you really want to live in because, of course, there's fucking gang violence everywhere. But if you're in a world where there's a lot of gang violence everywhere, you want to be in this world because at least they have like a code of honor.
And look, gang violence will never go away because there's always going to be gang violence regardless of where you're at.
You know, from the moment we had fucking tribes in the Stone Age to now, like, you know, the sad thing about humanity that when you look at it, like, the only really constant is that we are fucking warmongers. We're
a bunch of savages, you know. People can't help themselves. It's like they want to inflict crime and harm upon people having a good time at a concert. They came to see Ellie Aim and stuff, and they's like, nah, we come to kidnap her and cause all this chaos. I again, going back to like Billy Fish, his character growth from the beginning to the end is one of the best things about the film, because most movies will just make him a jerk through the entire film. Like, they look at him like, soon as you see him, like, instant jerk, he's a douchebag, and by the end of the movie, he never grew. He's still the same douchebag. But
here, it's, especially, I think you can really tell by his relationship with McCoy, that, straight from the beginning, they're totally different characters, and they're very much at odds with each other. And then you can see that, when they're like, it's more and more like a friendly banter in the end.
Yeah. And I think he came to that realization when, when the bus was down and him and Cody had to talk, and Cody is like, it wouldn't be a waste of time to kick your ass because, you're nothing. He came to that realization that even if he told him, like, don't touch the suit, like, Cody's just too good. And while his girlfriend, Ellie, still has a connection with him, he knows that he can't compete against Cody because Cody's a much stronger character.
And he's like, he's like a handsome dude, and Ellie still has like feelings for him. So I really like, when also like they had to talk, and then Cody told him, he's like, hey, no, it's you. Like,
yeah, because he went to the army and never communicated with her, never sent her no letters. She felt like she was abandoned, so she linked up with Billy Fish and started doing her thing with singing and the group,
which naturally also very much benefited her career.
Yeah. And he never really returned. So when his sister called him to say, come help her, at first he didn't want to do it. But then he's like, he started seeing the old pictures and stuff, and then he's like, I changed my mind, I'll do it. But he knew that as soon as he sees her, it's going to be instant conflict because of their past relationship.
There are such people, like, it's, I think every person has like the sexual kryptonite, and especially when it comes down, of course, to your high school sweetheart.
Yeah, you think that maybe you could rekindle that relationship, or maybe we could still be friends and stuff like that. And at first, when they had that conversation going up the stairs, they were like, oh, this is beyond repair. They're not going to rekindle anything. But as the night goes on, the chances are still there. They still have feelings for each other.
And this is also what I love so much about it. In this movie, it's basically, it shows what can happen in one night. Like, it's such a, like I say, it's so perfectly paced, and it really works on such a slim time scale. And
I feel like because of his rocky relationship with her, he started projecting upon the others, especially McCoy. Like, he came once he got the money from Fish, and it's funny how it was $10,000, but he only took the money that he had to pay McCoy, and he gave the rest back to Fish. And it's like, well, what person do that? Take all the money.
I know, but he sometimes he want to prove a point.
Yeah. Like, he basically just wants to prove that, he can come in and save his girl, and that, he don't need the money. He just paid McCoy for what she's worth.
That's another thing which is very human. Yeah. And that's another thing which is very human. We can be very petty when we want to prove a point.
Yeah, because I'm taking that money, man. Fuck that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like he gave McCoy the money, and then she felt like, well, is that all I'm worth? Just stuff. She wanted a pat on the back, and he was like, what can I do? I ain't got no medals to give you. So they had a little blow up, and then it all led to the whole confrontation with Raven, setting up the deal with the police. And I just love that final stretch, where he's trying to get back to Richmond, and they burnt the subway up, the L train, so
the parameters so nobody escape.
Yeah, so he has to find a way to get back there. And again, it's like it goes back to him and Ellie getting back together, because now she had this feelings and stuff, and he realized like, yeah, we may still like each other and love each other, but we just can't go on like this. And right then and there, you just know that he's smart enough to know that this is not going to work, even if they have feelings for each other. So again, major props to the script on sticking with these characters being flawed enough that they know that they can't exist going past this.
Yeah. And this is so wonderful, relatable.
Yeah, it's relatable, and it sometimes you can get back together with someone, and it still don't work out to the point where you breaking up, and it's like, man, what was the point of getting back together? So they were smart enough to realize that it's just not going to work. But it led to that final showdown with Raven, and again, back to Ed Price. He tried to handle the situation himself, and it backfired, because Raven told him, I'm only going to show up with 2 of my guys, and he's like, oh, I'll just arrest him and take his 2 guys out, and that'll be it. Nah, Raven had a plan. He said, sound the horn, and the whole gang showed up on motorcycles.
With
Ed Price, like, my plan went to shit.
And Bill Paxton pissed off, but he also came back with the whole fucking neighborhood with guns,
which was an awesome sight in itself. The fact when he ran off, you in your mind, you think, oh, he's a punk, he's a chump, he ran off. Like, hey, that's pretty smart. This gang come with the whole crew. Get the hell out of it. But he came back with the town full of shotguns.
Exactly, Big Remo. And I think this is also, this must be also some experience that Walter Hill had, I think, because he said that he wanted to do this movie like for an 18-year-old version of him. So I'm pretty sure he also put in a lot of the experiences like he had, like with dating and redating.
Yeah. But yeah, that whole final scene with the hammer showdown was awesome. And again, it goes back to Walter Hill being a great director and knowing how to showcase these 2 actors in the hammer fight. Anything could go wrong with that.
The hammer fight, yeah. And this is also, this is such a unique fight. Is there any other fights in movie history where dudes like battled it out with 2 hammers?
It makes me think of the Hammer Bros from the Super Mario games. Those damn hammers. Hated those damn turtles.
Oh, damn it. Every time you fall, you figured them out. It's like, I got them now, and then suddenly you're like...
Yep, got to start all over.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't think there's ever been the use of a hammer fight in movies like this.
And this was also well choreographed. You could really feel the heaviness of the hammer, especially when he did like the asphalt, the street with it, and this is really like a very visceral fight.
William Dafoe's facial expression, he sold it so well with how
Canadian survivalist.
What's up? Thanks for joining. But he sold it so well with how the struggles of the fight.
Yes, and also later when when he lost the helmet and Cody was also honorable and putting his hammer away, he's like, ah! You can see how fucking pissed he was because he felt like, like he didn't want to be shown mercy. He was so he's like, I'm losing the street cred here.
Exactly. And you lose the hammer fight. He tosses the hammer down, and then you throw off in the fit of rage, and now you want to fight hand to hand, and that was even better.
Yeah.
But the cream of the crop was Cody hitting him so badly that this man was knocked out standing up, and Cody just went over there, pushed him, and he fell out. that to me was great because it shows that he was completely defeated without realizing that he was defeated until he just fell over.
I think this even might be one of the best mano a mano fights in history, movie history.
Oh yeah, it's right up there. With two guys that's just duking it out, just for the pride and honor of who's the toughest. And I love their first encounter. The classic when William Dafoe comes out the fire with his leather suit and all.
It also like this cut, when he had before, when he's like, "Hey, what's your name?" It's like Tom Cody. So you can really see, that William Dafoe's character's Raven. That in this moment, that even though he got the gold back, and basically their bases was invaded, he still was finally a worthy adversary. You could see that he actually enjoyed it.
He wasn't pissed. He wasn't mad and throwing the rage. No, he somebody that came and outdid me.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to the next showdown. I'm looking forward to a showdown with you, brother. Man, this movie is so good. And the last bit I want to talk about is the minor characters of the Sorrells. Stoney Jackson as Bird, the leader. Mckettai Williamson as BJ. We know him from the Forrest Gump movies, and a couple of other films that he was in Waiting to Excel. You raggedy bitch, and all that. So he's another great actor. Graham Bush, I'm like, man, where has he been? He's been in a lot of films in the 80s and early 90s, and then he kind of disappeared by the 2000s.
Yeah, and you know what I also really love about the Sorrell scene? We have so much, in the modern movies, so much forced diversity that doesn't really fit into a movie. And every director nowadays is treating it like they invented it. No, look at Walter Hill. Walter Hill, in every one of his movies, he always had a very keen eye on portraying a diverse society. But he did it in a way that didn't suck because with his movies it felt natural, and also he with the Sorrells, he didn't just put in the Sorrells because, hey, I want to have a bunch of black dudes in the movie. No, the Sorrells actually have a very important impact for the future of the world that he created him in, because with their style of music, then when Fish hears it, then it's hey, in the end you can see already they're doing a crossover, and basically the Sorrells are going to be the next big thing in this world, and adding a new time period to this timeless piece of world. You can see already in the end it's hey, yeah, it's time is moving on. They're this is not just a moment in time frozen, but this is a general world where there is progress in it in a musical way.
That's what makes this movie so great. The introduction really adds more to it,
Yeah.
And I really love that ending scene when they're singing their part, and Fish is we're gonna make a lot of money.
Yeah.
He's seeing the dollar signs in this group. And I like how dismissive he was of them when they first got on the bus. Because the bus part is funny how Cody just stood in front of the bus that was coming around the corner They could have just hit him and knocked, but he was like, nah, stop.
And you can also really see, with them, it's like, hey, like with the Sorrels, but there's we can't perform error because the industry is keeping us down.
Yeah, which is true at the time, and look at their bus is raggedy and all that stuff. They had to change the tire because they got a flat.
I think the bus scene might be one of my favorite. I would personally count like the whole bus scene, maybe not as an act, but it felt like in a video game when you have like your when you have your campfire going on, everybody is like healing and regenerating, and this was so perfectly demonstrated here that the bus felt like a safe place because they were hunted by everybody. And then the Sorrels, started like to sing like this a cappella version of Countdown to Love, and so it really felt like this safe space within this world.
Yeah, and like I said, like Fish, he was dismissive, but he saw their talent, and their talent started to grow on it. Everybody was starting to like enjoy the acapella, until
so the kidnapping of them was the best thing happening.
Because they commandeered their bus, like, we're taking the bus. Well, don't worry about it. When we get to our destination, you'll be good. Though they get to the destination, they ran into some cops and they had to get away from them and abandon the bus. And it's like, shit.
Hey, K-pop junkie.
What's up, Katie? But yeah, they had to abandon the bus, and now the Sorrels like, man, our luggage was in there, all our stuff was in there. Like, why did you stop, man?
Luckily, it worked out for them.
But like you said, it was a blessing for them because they got the connection with Fish, and he put them on at the end of the film.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love their introduction, and of course, Stoney Jackson is a legend among us. Like, we're gonna talk Trespass because he's in that, but he was fake singing in this, but he also fake sang in CB4, where he also said I can dance. So he's a legend just for these movies. And of course, Robert Townsend, like I said, he didn't get a word in this film. But this film definitely influenced him because when he wanted to do the 5 Heartbeats, it was based on him being in this group in this film to say, what can I do a film about maybe the groups of the 50s and the 60s? And that's where the 5 Heartbeats.
I'm very much looking forward. We're going to talk that movie for your birthday.
Yeah, so I thought of that and I was like, that'd be a perfect birthday film. But yeah, I love Streets of Fire. It's one of my favorite films, and rewatching it again just made me like, damn, man, we need more films like this that can be creative and say, let's blend different eras together in one film, alternate timelines, and just like make it is.
And it is a pity, that I still think that in terms of directors, Walter Hill still isn't shown the respect that he actually deserves. He should be shown the same respect as Steven Spielberg, same respect, as a James Cameron.
Walter Hill, like, I even movies that, oh my god, definitely give it a watch. Give it a watch. But Walter Hill is like one of those directors that I'm never really disappointed in. Like, I have my issues with Red Heat, but it's still an enjoyable film.
Yeah, but also with Red Heat, he, with Red Heat was basically him versus Arnold, and Arnold shouldn't have like gotten. Sometimes let the director do his thing and don't always listen to Arnold, because at the end I think it would have been a better movie if it would be truly Walter Hill movie.
It would, and I felt like I kind of see Arnold's side in it because it's the one movie where you don't see a whole lot of personality from Arnold because he's portraying this silent military guy from Russia, and it's like I'm waiting on the Arnold joke.
Yeah, but I also really think that, and this goes also back again, that Walter Hill isn't shown the respect that he deserves. I think Arnold, at that point, he would have listened more to Verhoeven or to James Cameron and trusted them with the process. I mean, of course, Arnold always has his inputs, which sometimes also works out for the better. But I really think here that he never truly accepted the authority of Walter.
But he loved working with Ivan Reitman.
Yeah.
And, you know, Twins and Kindergarten Cop, which is another movie we gotta talk about. Kindergarten Cop, man.
Yeah, and which is could be like also with Kindergarten Cop 1 and 2 with Dolph Lundgren.
Oh man,
we did like this wonderful.
Send that video, BB. Send that video. I'll re-upload that.
Because we did like a wonderful stream where we talked about every Hulk Hogan movie.
And we still haven't talked Mackenzie Allen with Grace Jones in it.
Yeah, but also like we have many things to do, like, and of course over time we're gonna also talk every Hulk Hogan movie, and who knows what's up for the Hulkster next. He's still 70 years old and he knows how to cut a fucking promo.
But yeah, like Streets of Fire is fantastic, and like I said, we're gonna talk a few Walter Hill movies. Next week we're gonna do both 48-hour films, and then the week after that we're gonna do Trespass, underrated film. I mean, Bill Paxton and William Sadler against the Ices, Ice-T and Ice Cube. you can't come up with some shit like that and think like, really? Bunch of rappers? But the movie is phenomenal.
We have wonderful things coming up here.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. And it all thanks to Streets of Fire, thanks to it being your birthday and you recommending this film, because I was like, I always loved this film, and I was like, I couldn't wait to talk about it.
Yeah.
You know,
this is a movie that needs to be talked about more. It's pure magic. This is like Big Remo said, you know, it's like in this top 5 movies, and this is also one of the movies where they would ask me, you know, if I have like a bunch of movies that I have to take with me so I can rewatch them, like I'm not allowed to watch any other movies, this would be part of it. Of course, along with Conan the Barbarian.
Yes. But yeah, it was awesome, man. So I'm looking forward to next week.
Everybody listen to the fucking soundtrack. It's also because not only their songs that are performed like in a movie by Ellen and her band, there's also fantastic songs in the background. Like Marilyn Martin, like Sorcerer. And we know, like, as Sword and Sorcery fans, we like sorcerers.
Great soundtrack, man.
A fantastic soundtrack. So what's up for you this weekend?
I don't know
anything?
I don't know if there's a crew episode coming up this weekend. I'll find out, because I know Al messaged me saying there might be a show this Saturday, but it might not be. You know, so other than that, it's a chill weekend. Also,
shout out to Al. Keep fighting a good fight.
Much make sure y'all check out our last video where we talked -1. That was Godzilla -1. Al was on with us, and that was a great episode as well.
Yeah. I'm actually in action tomorrow.
Yeah?
On Gary B's channel, we're gonna talk the first year of Conan the Titan comics.
Yes. You know, I will definitely check that out, and I might dig out my issues and reread a lot of that stuff, man, because it's been great. You know, Conan on Titan has been really great.
I like in the beginning, I was like a little bit distrusting of the second issue, but then it went straight to the top. And you know what's the only sad thing about the Conan Titan run?
What's that?
It shows us how bad everything else is.
I really wish they can get Red Sonja away from Dynamite.
But it's not gonna happen because Dynamite I know Dynamite is not the big problem with Red Sonja. It's also like the clueless rights holders, and let's just say Lieberman sadly is not his father because his father knew how to make money with it.
Yeah, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
And I like to say I'm not really getting much Red Sonja in terms of current stuff because I feel like Dynamite is just exploiting that character and they're not putting out too many great stories.
Yeah,
I'll stay with Vampirella as long as Priest is writing it, but I'm not trying to buy much of anything else.
I mean, I pity anybody that is like buying a Vampirella comic right now without having read years of Christopher Priest, because they must be confused as fuck.
Yeah. But yeah, that's our weekend. So I'm looking forward to that video with you and Gary B. I'll definitely.
I can say I'm gonna curse and do everything. It's like I'm gonna make this shit X-rated.
Be you. That's all you can be, is be you.
Yeah. Yeah. On the one hand, of course, I always understand, having rights to a character is like, law is, of course, very important. On the other hand, it's like, it hinders so much creative process. I think there should be a quality law. If you have like a license and only putting out shit, then you should lose the license. And I think quality can be measured because of course there is a technique to storytelling. We have it from the ancient Greeks. What is a drama? What is a comedy? What are the rules of it? We need to put this into a quality measure and then say, do good things with it or lose it.
I also want to plug Katie's show. She's been killing it on the live streams with kicking it with K-pop. I know she's got one tonight. I'm on number one. So definitely check out K-pop Junkie. Most of the times I'm not able to watch it live because I'm working at nights. But whenever I do, I try and catch the replay. So make sure y'all sub up the K-pop Junkie and check out her Kicking with K-pop series because she does a great job highlighting the independent creators and supporting them. So definitely go check her out. So any last words, Vivi?
Watch this movie. It's one of the best movies ever made.
That's it, man. Check out Streets of Fire. And we'll be back next week where we talk 48 Hours. Eddie Murphy and Nick Nolte. And eventually we're going to do the recent Beverly Hills Cop. That will be coming.
I still haven't watched it.
We might revisit the Beverly Hills Cop franchise.
The Rodfather is here.
The Rican.
Yeah. The man, the myth, the legend.
Hey, do it. There's a whole bunch of crappy action movies that I enjoy too.
This is not crappy. This is a masterpiece. We should talk crappy action movies again.
Hey man, when we talked the movie with the one with Roddy Piper in it, man, like that was an enjoyable crappy action film.
Exactly.
Robert Davi, yeah, like shit. Sometimes, and this is why we got to talk. Oh, he said
Sharknado is not crappy. Sharknado is one of the most excellent crafted movie series in history. Star Wars wish they would have the coherence of Sharknado and the ending of Sharknado, how it went all together. It was heartfelt. Unironically, the Sharknado movies are cinematic masterpieces.
I love it.
And this is the hill of fucking die on.
Hey, stand by it, brother.
Yeah.
And like I said, this is why there's some crappy movies that like, God, that truly was dog shit. And then there's some crappy movies like, I love the Super Mario Brothers movie. And I'm talking 1993.
Exactly,
I love that movie.
And this bonded us together so much.
Yeah. So I'm like, when you said you enjoyed that film, I was like, fun.
Yeah. Of course, Rod. I'm moving to Florida just in the moment you guys starting a civil war over there. Like, yeah, sure, like. Couldn't pick a better time in history.
But don't worry about the Civil War, BB. That's the other side of people that's doing it. Come hang out with us. Ain't gonna be no Civil War. Yeah, the drive-ins, good old days.
Yeah. I do have to say, that watching Late Night with the Devil in cinemas. Also, everybody gonna check out the Late Night with the Devil talk that we had. That one was excellent. That this gave me like an old school cinema feeling again. I was in the cinema and I was really feeling it. I had a fucking 1 liter Coke Zero with me. I had like nachos with me, and this was just an old school cinema experience because it was a great movie. So I think we didn't lose like the experience. We just lost the good movies. And also Furiosa. Furiosa was awesome. I also enjoyed it in cinema.
I will be checking that out so we can do a show on that. But yeah. Anyway, that is it for us. We'll be back next week, 48 hours. And I want everybody to have a great weekend, y'all. We will see you soon. Peace out.
Savage one.